Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss some concepts on digital communication which will be useful for your diploma CET. Okay, this work is done by two professors. One is Mrs. Kavya A.D., Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Canada Engineering College, Bantwal. Another, myself, Mr. Sujit S.Y., Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Canada Engineering College, Bantwal. Hope this all the work, what we efforts we have put, it might be useful for your diploma CET and help you in cracking the diploma CET on diploma digital communication topic very well. Okay, now we'll start the concepts. The first one is the converting analog signals to digital is done by sampling and dash, whether it is A quantizing, B pre-emphasis, C compounding, D mixing. The answer is A quantizing. Why it is? When analog signals are converted to digital by the process of sampling, quantizing and encoding. So what you are doing, they are making analog signals into small pieces then. And we call it as a sampling. Then they are quantized. Quantized means removing of whatever the noise, everything is there, and we are leveling it to the peak level. Whatever the maximum peak level in that signal is quantized. Quantized is nothing but leveled to one level. That's the maximum, whatever the voltage or some whatever the signal is there, that is we call it as a quantizing. So what we have done, that is the main process, and those signals are encoded. Encoding is nothing but the bits what we see. Next, second question. The quantizer is then what? Multiplexer, B A to D converter, demultiplexer, digital to analog converter. The answer is B. As we had discussed in the previous question, it is nothing but an analog to digital converter. As I said, that's a block involved in the converting analog to digital signal as a level to a maximum level, the peak level available in that the samples. The next question is the third. Which of the following modulating system is digital? PPM, PWM, PCM, or PAM? Okay, the answer is C, PCM, pulse coded modulation. What it does, it generates some pulses, the discrete amplitude from the data sequence. You see, the samples are used to modulate them. Whatever the receiver is done is decoder is generating the things, whatever received from the anything from the uh, from the sender part or the transmitter part. So it is decoded. The next question is the for transmission of normal speech signal, the PCM channel needs a bandwidth of what? 64 kilohertz, 8 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, or 2 kilohertz. The answer is A, 64 kilohertz. How it is calculated? We have one formula. Remember, the bandwidth is greater than or equal to number of bits into the maximum frequency. So what is the number of bits? Here is the 8. The maximum frequency of this speech signal is 3.4 kilohertz. So multiply and whatever the answer is, nothing but the A 64 kilohertz. That's the formula you need to remember. Bandwidth is greater than or equal to the number of bits into maximum frequency. Next question is compounding. Compounding is used to overcome the quantizing noise in PCM, to protect small signals in PCM from quantizing distortion, C to allow amplitude limiting in the receiver, D to overcome impulse noise. The answer is B. Okay, that's the conceptual answer what we are discussing. So next one is the delta modulation is used for minimizing what? Hunting noise, what we saw as the granular noise. B slope overload regulation. C both granular and slope overload regulation. D none of this. Answer is D, none of this. Because delta modulation is an analog to digital a digital to analog signal conversion technique where quality is not of primary importance. Here, we just here to uses over the sampling technique to achieve high signal to noise ratio. So whatever the signal is done is used to in use to achieve the high signal to noise ratio. Okay. Next question is the NRZ, that's non-returning to zero. Digital signal encoding format has a dash component in the waveform. A DC, B sinusoidal, C harmonic, D parity. The answer is A DC. As we know, either we have whatever the values we have, either 1 or 0, non-return to 0. Is that? Because we saw this NRZ digital signal encoding format is a digital signal format. Remember, digital usually have a 1 or 0. So again, it's called as a DC. Hence, this is we called as a line code technique. The next question is, which encoding method uses alternating positive and negative values for ones? Either NRZI, RZ, return to 0 that is, Manchester, AMP. The answer is D. What is this? AMI is a bipolar format wherein positive logic ones are sent as alternative positive or negative voltage values. Zeros are represented by 0 volt. So one what is heading first it says in the alternative that like it is the first if you say it in the positive, next it will go in the negative values. So first it will be like if you have one bit one, first one 0 1 1. So first one what it will happening? First it is sending the positive value and the zeros are represented by 0. Again when you go for next bit it is again alternated by negative voltage value. That's it. Next one. The first step in the PCM is what? Quantization, modulation, sampling, D, none of the above. Answer C, sampling. This is the conceptual answer because in the PCM, analog signals are converted to digital by the process of sampling, quantizing, and encoding, as I said earlier. The next question is in dash scheme, the voltage level of the one is positive and the voltage level for 0 is negative. A polar, B bipolar, C unipolar, D all of the above. The answer is A polar because the voltage level for one is positive and negative and the voltage the level for 0 is negative. So answer is polar. Okay. Next in dash encoding we use three levels positive, 0, negative. Which are the thing? Either A polar, B bipolar, C unipolar or D all of the above. The answer is B. Because bipolar format is a pseudo-terminal signaling format which uses three encoded logic levels positive, 0 and negative to represent a two-level signal. In positive logic, ones are sent as alternative positive or negative values. Zeros are represented by 0. So either 1 for positive, negative values for negative values, that is the alternating, and zeros for representing 0 volts. Next, 12. A dash is used to allow a digital signal to be transmitted on an analog channel. A codec, B alias, C modem, D PSK. The answer is C modem. Modem is typically to use to send digital data over a phone line. What we use in the early days of our modem lines, we used to use as a internet. A LAN connection used to use. So this are nothing but usually a modem is a typically used to send a digital data. How many carrier frequencies are used in binary amplitude shift keying? A2, B1, C0, D none of the above. The answer is B. What is this binary amplitude shift keying? It involves the amplitude of a single sinusoidal carrier between two levels, either that is on or off, with an input binary data signal. So we are using here one carrier frequency with one the signal which has to be amplitude or which has to be modulated. Understood? The next one. How many carrier frequency are used in BFSK, binary frequency shift keying? 2, 1, 0, D, none of them. The answer is 2. Because the BFSK requires two frequency signals. That means because we have to mention it in the two levels, the F1 and F2 in accordance to the input binary data. That is two carriers for two different frequency. One is if a binary data is 0, on carrier frequency F1 is been highlighted. If a binary data is 1, the carrier frequency 2 is highlighted. Next, which of the following is not digital to analog conversion? ASK, FSK, PSK, or AM, amplitude modulation? The answer is AM. Just it is modulating the signal. Here, just not we are doing any conversion here because ASK, FSK, PSK are the digital to analog conversion, but AM is the just to modulate the input signal. The next one, in dash, the amplitude of the carrier signal is varied to create signal elements. Both frequency and phase remains constant. Which is that? ASK, FSK, PSK, QAM, quadrature amplitude modulation. That is. The answer is A. Here, both the involves the sinusoidal carrier between the two levels on and off is in according to the input binary data signal. Both the frequency and phase remains constant. Here we are working only on the amplitude factor. Next, in the frequency of the carrier signal is varied to represent data. Both peak, amplitude and phase remain constant. Which one is that? It is nothing but FSK. So no, here FSK we are worried only about the frequency. We are not worried too much about the amplitude and the phase. Next we are worried about the F1 and F2 levels. The next one, in dash uses the two carriers. One in the phase, another the quadrature. Which one is that? ASK, FSK, PSK, QAM. The answer is D, QAM. When we say, because here we say as one is the phase component, another is the quadrature component, which are 90-degree phase shifted to each other. 19th question, in FDM, multiple signals A transmit at different time, B share a common bandwidth, C use multiple channels, D modulate one another. The answer is B. As the name suggests, FDM stands for frequency division multiplexing. So what you are doing, all the frequencies are merged and they are multiplexed and they are transmitted. Next one, the circuit that performs demultiplexing in an FDM system is A. Op-amp, B. Discriminator, C. Bandpass filter, D. Subcarrier oscillator. The answer is C. Bandpass filter. 21. In the TDM multiple signals, they share a common bandwidth, modulate subcarriers, are sampled at high speeds, take turns transmitting. Here the TDM stands for time division multiplexing. What they are doing here? They take turns transmitting. What is that? The TDM shares a single carrier frequency with several users by dividing the transmission time into non-overlapping slots. Whatever the data is there is given for that. For example, 0 to 1 second, one data is sent, 1 to 2 second, another data is sent, 2 to 3 second, another data is been sent. Next question. The spread spectrum stations sharing a band are identified by a distinguished from one another by a PN code, B. Frequency of operation. C. Clock rate. D. Modulation type. Answer is A. PN code. That is nothing but pseudo code, pseudo noise code. It is, or usually we can just say it as a pseudo random noise code. That is a spectrum similar to random sequence of bits, but it deterministically generated. It is a sequence of 1 and 0 whose autocorrelation has the properties of white noise. Next, to a conventional narrow band receiver, an SS signal appears to be like a noise, B fading, C a jamming signal, D an intermittent connection. The answer is A, noise. Because today appears to be like, because it's a noise kind. Okay. Thus here sharing a bandwidth identified and distinguished from one another by PN code, which is randomly generated and the autocorrelation has the properties of a white noise. Next one, which multiplexing technique transmit analog signals? A. FDM, B. TDM, C. WDM, or D. Both A and C, FDM and TDM. The answer is D. As I said, both are similar. That's the analog signal has been transmitted over a short distance of time. Like in FDM, the continuous, the frequency has been varied, and here that in the different time sequence, that in the TDM, the different time sequence, the data has been sent. Next one. Dash is the set of the technique that allows the simultaneous transmission of multiple signals across a single data link. Demodulating, C multiplexing, V encoding, B encoding, C multiplexing, D compressing. The answer is C multiplexing. What they are doing? Making the simultaneous data to transfer in a multiple across a single data. The dash technique expands the bandwidth of a signal by replacing each data bit with n bits, whether it is A FDM, B DSSS, C FHSS, D TDM. The answer is B, direct spread spectrum. In short we say it as a direct sequence spread spectrum. Okay, which uses the spreading codes to spread the signal over a wider bandwidth than usually be required. Next one. Data communication refers to the transmission of A voice, B computer data, C video, D all of the above. The answer is B computer data. Explanation is the one. The data communication refers to the transmission of the digital data between two or more computers. The physical connection between the network computing device is established using either cable media or wireless media. Okay. So usually the best known computer network is the internet. You know, whatever the data has to be grabbed, usually is done by the computer network. The next one, channel capacity is equal to the bandwidth of demand, B average frequency, C noise rate, D amount of information per second. The answer is D amount of information per second. That is nothing. What is it? The channel capacity. That what is the capacity of that channel which we can transfer this amount can be transferred. Usually it has to be at what we say the channel as the capacity is the rate of at which the information can be reliably transmitted over a communication channel. So what is we are doing? Amount of information transmission. So that is what the amount of information transmitted per second. The next one, according to Hartley's law, which one is correct? A, the maximum rate of information depends on channel bandwidth. B, the maximum rate of information transmission depends on the depth of modulation. C, redundancy is essential. D, only binary codes may be used. The answer is A, the maximum rate of information depends on the channel bandwidth. In the information theory, the Shannon-Hartley theorem tells the maximum rate at which the information can be transmitted over a communication channel of a specified bandwidth in the presence of noise. So it depends on the channel bandwidth, not any other thing. So what the Hartley's law is the same. So what is that say? That depend on the channel bandwidth. So how many amount of data can be sent through that path or through that channel. Next one, the Shannon-Hartley law refers to the distortion, defines bandwidth, C describes signal rating, D refers to the noise. C describes signaling rating. What is that signaling rating? The data at which the signals have been sent. Next one, as per Shannon's capacity theorem, every transmission medium has a dash data rate. It's nothing but B, maximum, as we know. The Shannon capacity theorem is like that way. What is the minimum bandwidth required to transmit a 56 kbps or you say kilobits per second signal with a no noise? A 14 kilohertz, B 28 kilohertz, C 50 kilohertz, D 100 per kilohertz. The answer is B 28 kilohertz. How? It is nothing but the channel capacity in bits is equal to the bits per second is equal to the twice the channel bandwidth B when no noise is present. So 56 is what the outcome of 28 into 2. So hence it is nothing but the channel capacity. That is the same. C is equals to 2 into V. Therefore V is equals to C by 2 where C is given as 56 kilobits per second or kbps. So answer we get it as V is equals to 28 kilohertz. The next one, what is the bandwidth required to transmit a rate of 10 Mbps in the presence of a 28 decibels signal to noise ratio? 1.075 megahertz, B 5 megahertz, C 10 megahertz, D 10.75 megahertz. The answer is A 1.075 megahertz. Means that the channel capacity is equals to for an presence of noise. Earlier we had done without presence of noise. So here C is equals to V log of 1 plus S by N the base 2. Given C is equals to 10 Mbps and S by N is equals to 28 decibels. So we have to calculate because S of N is given in the S by N is given into the decibel format. So what we are doing, S by N decibel is equals to 10 log of 10 of the S by N. So 28 dB is equals to 10 log of 10 signal to noise ratio there. So after calculating that signal to noise ratio, we take a log to this side, to the left side. We have that we usually do it by anti-log method. So on that, we get 630.95753. Substituting this equation, we get equation 1. We get the bandwidth B is equals to 1.075 megahertz. Next one, the symbol rate is sometimes called the dash rate. We know it generally. A baud, B bit, C signal, D none of the above. The answer is baud rate. Usually we use in the communication channel it is. Next one, dash is the most commonly used transmission medium. Optical fiber, coaxial cable, C UTP, D STP. The answer is UTP. Okay, the answer is UTP. What is this UTP? Unshielded distant path cables. Usually wherever we use this kind of a cables. So that's the medium what we are using. Next, optical fiber use dash to guide the light through the optical fiber. A refraction, B critical angle, C total internal reflection, D waves. This is the basic what we learn in the optical fiber, that is C total internal reflection. As we know that it is the optical fibers are covered by a core surrounded by transparent cladding material with a lower index of reflection. Light is kept in the core by the phenomenon of total internal reflection, which causes the fiber to act as a waveguide. It's providing the path. Next one, of all the guided media, dash has the highest data transmission rate, whether it's A optical fiber, B coaxial cable, C UTP, D STP. Which one? That is the optical fiber. Because the optical fiber has been that in the trend now. Now you can remember by the saying that Geo-Fi cables, whatever it's getting all over the Geo network or Geo fiber. So it is having the highest data rate when compared to all the SIM net. So like Geo SIM is better than we have it in the Geo-Fi cables. Next one, what is the major factor that makes coaxial cable less susceptible to the twisted pair cable? A. Inner conductor. B. Diameter of the cable. C. Outer conductor. D. Insulating material. The answer is C. Outer conductor. The answer, because outer conductor is the major factor that makes the coaxial cable less susceptible to noise than twisted pair cables. As I said, the core on the outer conductor, which is making it the more support. And it is a type of electrical cable that has inner conductor surrounded by a tubular insulating layer surrounded by a tubular conducting sheet. So another. So that makes it more reliable then. Many coaxial cables also have insulating over outer shield or a jacket, but we are using for coaxial cables. Next one, total internal reflection takes place if the light ray strikes the interface at an angle with the relationship to the critical angle. So what is that relation of to that critical angle? A lesser than, B equal to, C greater than, D 0. The answer is C greater than. Total internal reflection takes place at the boundaries between the two transparent media when a ray of light in a medium or a higher index of refraction approaches of other medium at an angle of incidence greater than that critical angle. Next one, which cable length has the highest attenuation? 1 kilometer, 95 feet, 2 kilometer, or D 500 feet? The answer is C, 2 kilometer. Why? Attenuation increases with the distance. More the distance, the attenuation is more. So usually we require a repeater in that between the. The core of the fiber optical cable is made of A. Air, B. Diamond, C. Glass, D. Quartz. You know it. That's made of a special glass there. Next one. Which type of optical fiber cable is best for very high speed data? Single mode step index, B. Single mode graded index, C. Multi-mode step index, D. Multi-mode graded index. The answer is A, because it provides the single mode and it's very fast. Next one, the most common light used in the optical fiber and the fiber optic links is infrared, B. Red, C. Violet, D. Ultraviolet. The answer is A. Infrared. The loss or the attenuation of the signal in the optical fiber is due to the scattering, absorption, see bending, all of the above. The answer is all of the above. Why? Because we cannot say what are the factors there. So all these factors will be considered during the consideration of the losses. The absorption also will be there, some of the signal. Scattering also take place. Some signals, if it is not at the greater than the critical angle, due to the bending of the cable also it might occur. 45. The inner core of an optical fiber is in dash composition. Glass or plastic, B copper, C bimetallic, D liquid. You know this one. That's the basic, glass or plastic. Next one. The core of a fiber optic cable is surrounded by wire braid shield, B cladding, C Kevlar, D plastic insulation. B cladding. The speed of a light is in the plastic compared to the speed of light in air is less, the same, more, D 0. It is less. Why? In speed of light in air is without having a different mediums there. Okay. Due to this is the refractive index factors. Next one. Which of the following is not a benefit of a fiber optic cable? Immunity to interference, B. Excellent data security, C. No electrical safety problems, D. Lower cost. Which are the benefit of this? Which is not a benefit of this one? They are lower cost. You know that optical fibers are very costly. The small minor part, because the structure required to build a fiber optic cable is very high. the component, the materials. It has to be of top quality. Next one, which of the following is not a part of an optical spectrum? Infrared, visible, B visible color, C ultraviolet, D X-rays. X-rays of course. We use usually the ultraviolet, infrared and the visible colors. Next one, which of the following is not a common type of a fiber optic cable? Single mode step index, single mode graded index, C multi-mode graded index, D multi-mode step index. You know this one, single mode step index. Don't have any other such kind of a category. Thank you. I think the whatever that we have discussed in this video or whatever we have explained in the video might be useful for you in the upcoming diploma CET, and all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.